Good morning, students. Last class we discussed about that regeneration process and also one schematic view of combination of reheating and regeneration, superheating combination problem, but we are not solved. We want to solve it in Sigilant test, Boole's test. You can get like these problems. You can solve it. This is the combined effect, combined maximum with modified Rankine cycle. Superheated, superheated and reheated and regenerated. Boiler pressure also enhanced. Starting stage we did 30 bar pressure, now 150 bar pressure. Condenser pressure, starting we did 0.7 bar pressure, now we move to 0.1 bar pressure. So everything is happening. All energy and efficiency enhancement techniques. This is the schematic view of the power plant, simple schematic view of the power plant and the TS diagram of the power plant. Two regenerations are there, and one reheating is there, one reheating. Okay. This is one of the supercritical thermal power plant. I think it's a coal-fired supercritical, the coal-fired supercritical thermal power plant. It is published, I think, 2009 in one of the journal. Then I took the power plant data, operating parameters. Then I did exergetic analysis of supercritical thermal power plant. I published two papers upon this one, solar aided and solar alone. You can cross verify, just Siva Reddy plus Exergy. You can Google search it, you will get the papers. So here you can see the supercritical thermal power plant means more than 220 bar pressure. 4 high pressure extraction, high pressure feed water heaters and 4 low pressure feed water heaters. 4 high pressure feed water heaters and 4 low pressure feed water heaters. And next 3 turbines. One is high pressure turbine, second one intermediate pressure turbine, third one is low pressure turbine. And one reheating only we did, not two reheating. With one reheating is the issue is closed. And for running of this boiler feed water heater from deaerator to the boiler, we are using some steam extracted for feed water heating, deaerator mixing. For the mixing of deaerator, we are using that steam, some of the steam for running the pump. So we are running small turbine. This is Makeup turbine for running of the pumps. So for running of the pumps, we are not extracting energy from the turbines. Some steam we extracted, small turbine we are running to fulfill the needs of feed water pumps. And this is the first condenser feed water heater. Next one, this is the boiler feed water. Condenser feed water heater 2, where feed water after heating it is moved to the deaerator. Deaerator I already mentioned. We are doing making water, makeup water addition or condensate. What are the particulate matter is there? We are removing the condensate. Everything will done in a deaerator. Drain. Indirectly we are scrap draining. We are doing in deaerator. Then after same boiler one boiler feed water pump we are running. After 4 feed water heating, it is reaching to the boiler at a saturation liquid condition. There heat first latent heat supply, then superheated to up to 600 degrees temperature. Then it will enter into the high pressure turbine and expanding up to some pressure, intermediate pressure. Then again it is entering into reheating. From that reheating again it is entering into the intermediate pressure turbine. From the intermediate pressure turbine it is moving to the low pressure turbine. And in between 8 extractions are there for feed water heating and one open extraction, open feed water heater and 8 closed feed water heaters we are using. The representative of TS diagram also see how many times we are doing the feed water. 8 feed water heating representation dots I shown. and it's a supercritical thermal power plant. That's why there is no sensible heat addition, only latent heat addition only is taking place. In turbine also, first turbine reheating we are doing, next intermediate turbine, next low pressure turbine. This is a schematic view of the supercritical thermal power plant. What is the advantages? Technology advantages. Directly I will come to the point. What is advantages of supercritical thermal power plant? The first, based on the operating parameters we will discuss. Then after, efficiency and pollutions we will consider. Efficiency point, the operating parameters. Actually, mainstream pressure means boiler pressure or turbine inlet pressure. Subcritical means less than 22.1 megapascal into 10 means 221 bar pressure. Less than 221 bar pressure, it's called subcritical. Then what is the superheated temperature? Up to 565. And reheat also I already mentioned. Superheat and reheat we are maintaining same temperature. In the problem they are not giving also, you can assume yourself. Then 565 and reheat temperature also 565 only. Coming to the supercritical thermal power plant, 221 bar pressure to 250 bar pressure, the temperature limit power plants is called supercritical. It's a boiler operating pressure 221 bar pressure to 250 bar pressure, or turbine inlet pressure 221 bar pressure to 250 bar pressure. Then mainstream temperatures generally 540 to 580, maximum 580. I already mentioned material constraint is 650. Less than that only we are maintaining 540 to 580. Reheating also we are maintaining that range 540 to 580. The ultra supercritical thermal power plants. Supercritical is up to 250 bar pressure. The ultra supercritical thermal power plants means more than 250 bar pressure. Is more than 250 bar pressure. If boiler pressure we are maintaining or turbine inlet pressure we are maintaining, we will call ultra supercritical thermal power plant. They are maintaining temperature 580, more than 580, but less than 650. Less than 600 only we are maintaining 580. More than 580 up to 600. Reheating also we are doing 580 to 600. This is the operating conditions. Supercritical and ultra supercritical thermal power plants on theoretical assumption, because high efficiency, it is reducing 23% of the CO2 production per unit electrical energy generation. 1 unit all are knows 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt power 1 hour we are using, then it's called 1 unit. 3600 kilojoules. So 1 unit power electrical energy generation, 23% of CO2 emissions we are reducing. Why? Because we are enhancing the efficiency. If we replaced all subcritical thermal power plants by supercritical and ultra supercritical, we will achieve that much of achievement, that much of reduction of CO2 emissions. At 1950s, we initiated, United States and Germany started supercritical thermal power plants. Majority United States only. Later China also started. In India, where it is come, I will show the diagram. And the ultra supercritical technology promises efficiency up to 55%. Next, we are compared to emissions is coming means natural gas combined cycle power plants technology. Combined cycle, next class we will discuss. Instead of moving this much of high pressures, you combine two cycle, one air standard cycle and one vapor power cycle. Then this combination also will enhance the efficiency, first thing. Second thing, reduce CO2 emissions drastically compared to ultra supercritical and supercritical also. This is the average efficiency, expected average real time efficiency. Whatever the calculations we done, this is the ideal cycle efficiencies, not real cycle. We are not considered turbine losses, pump losses, boiler losses and condenser losses. without considering the energy losses in the ore components. In an ideal reversible cycle we are calculated. That's why the efficiencies we got 46, 47 also. But ideal we are calculating that efficiencies will reduce. This is the real-time efficiency range subcritical 136 percentage, and CO2 emissions gram per kilowatt 766 to 789 gram per kilowatt hour CO2 it is producing. Subcritical. Come to the supercritical. Efficiency expecting 45 up to 45 percentage, and CO2 emissions are 722 grams per kilowatt hour. Ultra supercritical thermal power plant more than 45 up to 50-55 also we can achieve based on the operation of the pressure range. Means more than 250 we are starting, up to 300 we are moving. But more than 45 is assured efficiency. The CO2 emissions also less than 722 gram per kilowatt hour. But this natural gas combined cycle power plant, we don't want to move the operating pressures up to supercritical and ultra supercritical. Normal subcritical 150 bar pressure, like that you can run the power plant, there is no issue. But combine the cycle, one air standard cycle and one vapor power cycle, then you can achieve 50% efficiency. Why we are achieving means, this air standard cycle, whatever the heat we are supplying, same heat we are considering, we are utilizing for running of the vapor power cycle. So one heat input we are running, we are producing two power outputs. That is the main advantage for achievement of maximum efficiency. Pollution point of view also, you see the CO2 emissions drastically reduced 50%. Same reason, for air standard cycle we are giving the heat input. The heat rejection of the air standard cycle is the heat gain of the boiler input of the vapor power cycle. So one fossil fuel combustion we are producing two power outputs. So CO2 also we are reducing. The CO2 emissions drastically reduced 344 to 4. That's why you can see developed countries, majority of the developed countries, they are running combined cycle thermal power plant. Instead of supercritical, ultra supercritical, okay, they will run, but they are not interested in subcritical. Supercritical or ultra supercritical, or if possible natural gas is available, then combined cycle thermal power plant is giving best efficiencies and less CO2 emissions. These are the main advantages. So general theoretically, whatever the examples I given in tabulation, everything I explained. Theoretically we are assuming efficiency is enhancing, so CO2 emissions are reducing. Sorry, efficiency. This one, ultra super. Efficiency enhancing. Some calculations: for every 1 megapascal improvement of main steam pressure, turbine heat rate could be reduced 0.13% to 0.15%. Heat input to the turbine boiler, heat input 1 megapascal rise. This much of heat input we can reduce. Or 10% of improvement of the main steam temperature, pressure rising, temperature rising, the turbine heat rate could be reduced to 0.25% to 0.3%. If I am superheating, then 10% improvement of reheating, it is reducing the heat rate 0.15% to 0.2%. So we can calculate how much percentage we can increase the temperature, increase the pressure, increase the reheating temperature. What are the power plants available? Starting year I am writing, not at present. China started supercritical and ultra supercritical 1991, and USA started 1959. Japan started 1968. Germany started 1960. UK started 1967. India started 2008. That is also, I think, Reliance Power, Anil Ambani Group. They started first power plant in Haryana. The support of Chinese company. Means boiler suppliers are Chinese only. So two problems we will solve and we will complete the work. Upon only supercritical condition we are extracting steam, not up to 0.1 bar pressure. Why? Because 0.1 bar pressure we are getting drainage fraction drastically reducing. Up to 0.7 bar pressure, what is the efficiency, possible efficiency? Condenser, steam, sorry. Consider a steam power plant operating on the simple ideal Rankine cycle. Steam enters the turbine at 30 megapascal, means 300 bar pressure, and 650 degrees centigrade, means maximum temperature I consider, and is condensed in the condenser at a pressure of 70 kilopascal, means 0.7 bar pressure. Determine the thermal efficiency. Simple. Directly open the Euler diagram. Mark the point 3000 megapascal and 650 degrees centigrade, and means 30 megapascal, means that 300 bar. Extract the enthalpy, whatever the enthalpy you are getting, that is H3. Next, same by isoentropic process, move vertically up to the condenser pressure of 0.7 bar, where the intersection is taking place. There you extract the enthalpy, and at 0.7 bar pressure, saturation enthalpy you take from the steam tables. Then add the pump work, specific value of 0.7 bar pressure V into P2 minus P1, boiler pressure minus condenser pressure, you will get the pump work input. Then enthalpy at condenser pressure, saturation liquid enthalpy plus pump work, you will get the H2. Very simple. By the Euler diagram you can calculate. Same thing I explained. From the Euler diagram, mark the points and move up to 0.7 bar, the vertically extract the H4 value, and the enthalpy is the drainage fraction value. If you want, in the problem they are asking what is the drainage fraction. Here itself drainage fraction is coming 0.84. Then pump work input, Vf into P2 minus 1, enthalpy. Then boiler heat input is 3162.2 kilojoules per kg. Turbine work output is 1170 kilojoules per kg. Then efficiency of the turbine, efficiency of the thermal power plant, we are getting 39.18 without reheating and regeneration, only raising of the pressure. So instead of 25%, 30 bar to 300 bar pressure rise without changing any, just ideal cycle I am running, 25% to 39% efficiency rise happen. You just move to the 150 bar and do the reheating, we are achieving reheating regeneration, we are achieving more than 40% efficiency. So all modified rank, that's why modified Rankine cycle only we are using. Reheat, regenerated, superheated, supercritical thermal power plants only we are using for power generation. One more problem. This is I think PK Nag textbook unsolved problem. We will solve this one. In a reheat cycle, the inlet in the initial steam pressure and the maximum temperatures are 150 bar and 600 degrees centigrade. So the reheat cycle they mentioned initially, I already mentioned reheat means the reheat temperature also you can assume superheated temperature itself. Is in the problem given or not? It's a fixed. So the maximum temperatures are 150 pressures and temperatures 150 bar and 600 degrees temperature. So from the Euler, by using Euler diagram, we extract the properties, or using the steam tables, table number 4, extract the enthalpy 150 bar and 600 degrees. If the condenser pressure is 0.1 bar and the moisture at the condenser inlet is 5%, so they given condenser pressure 0.1 bar. Moisture also they given. The moisture is condenser moisture inlet is 5%, means drainage fraction 0.95. The condenser inlet drainage fraction they given 0.95. Pressure they given, you can determine the H4 value simply. Hx equal to Hf plus x into Hg minus Hf. X 0.95, Hf at 0.1 bar saturation liquid plus x into 0.95 into Hg value. Saturated vapor at 0.1 bar pressure, Hg minus Hf, you will get the H4 value. H1 value, H4 value you will get directly. And assuming ideal process, and assuming ideal process, determine the reheat pressure. In the problem they asked first we want to determine reheat. They are not given reheat pressure. Now I want to determine the reheat pressure and the cycle efficiency. What is the cycle efficiency? These two we want to determine. First, at 150 bar pressure is superheat and 0.1 bar pressure, because intermediate pressure we don't know. So H1 value 150 bar pressure, 600 degrees temperature. From the steam table you can extract superheated table H1 and S1. H4 x equal to 0, H4 equal to Hx plus S, Hf plus x into Hg minus Sf. S4 also Sx equal to Sf plus x into Sg minus Sf. Then you got the S4 value. S4 equal to S3. Okay. S4 equal to S3 by using Euler diagram. Reheat temperature I know. The reheat temperature we know, that is 600 degrees temperature, and entropy is 7.776. It's the entropy. Then mark the point in the Euler diagram. In the Euler diagram you mark the point 600 degrees. The enthalpy is 600 degrees and entropy is 7.776 in the Euler diagram. Mark the point where the pressure is intersecting the pressure. The intersection point of the pressure value you will get, that is a 15 bar. From the 15 bar you will get the intersection pressure value. That is the intersection point. Directly you can extract the H3 value. H3 value you can extract directly from the intersection point from the Euler diagram, or same pressure I know, superheated temperature we already assumed. Reheat also will do up to superheating. So 15 bar and 600 degrees temperature. Determine the H3 value. Simple. So Euler diagram, you use the Euler diagram and extract the intersection pressure. Once you know the intersection pressure, H2 value we want to extract. Initial 150 bar pressure and 600 degrees temperature. Reheat pressure I have already determined. So up to 15 bar pressure you move vertically in the Euler diagram. Here 150 bar and 60 degrees temperature. Now you move vertically in Euler diagram up to 15 bar pressure. Why? Because already we determined what is the reheat pressure. Then you will get the H2 value. That's all. H5 already that saturation liquid, and pump work you are adding H6 we got. Simply determine the boiler input, primary heating and reheat value, primary heating, total boiler input, and turbine output of 1 plus turbine output of 2, same H1 minus H2 and H3 minus H4. This nomenclature according to while you are drawing the TS diagram, how you are giving the marking, same numbers not important. Finally, we determined the efficiency of the cycle. We got 45.29, the thermal efficiency of the cycle. Okay, so we completed supercritical. What are the advantages of supercritical thermal power plants? The main advantage, efficiency enhancement, reduction of CO2. Okay. Tomorrow class we will discuss about combined cycle. Which type of air standard cycle we are using, what is the thermal efficiency of that air standard cycle, everything we will discuss in next class.